Spotlight story here on 5 Live. Today happens to mark 1 month since a young Indian Navy officer, Lieutenant Commander Shashank Tiwari, has been missing on the slow-blown heights of Mount Trishul in Uttarakhand. An avalanche struck his mountaineering expedition on October the 1st. And now, while the mortal remains of 4 other Navy personnel were traced by search parties very close to the summit of Mount Trishul, Commander Shashank Tiwari remains missing, and today is 1 month since he went missing. Just 30 years old, the highly trained mountaineer received a gallantry medal for summiting Mount Everest in 2017. On October 1st this year, he was part of an expedition to Mount Trishul, which stands over 7,100 meters high, one of the highest in the country. The expedition was part of India's Swarnim Vijay Varsh celebrations on the 1971 war victory's 50th year. A terrifying avalanche struck the expedition at a very large height right before they were to reach Mount Trishul summit. And of the 5 naval personnel and 1 porter who went missing, the bodies of 4 Navy men were recovered. The porter and young Commander Shashank remain missing on that mountain, and today marks 1 month of no news about them. Despite strenuous efforts by army search teams and mountaineering expeditions, the bodies of Shashank and the porter have not been located. And with the weather and other factors proving a huge challenge, the search has had to pause. In the balance is Shashank's distraught family, his young wife, and parents of whom he was an only child. And joining me live this evening on 5 Live is Shubhani Tiwari. She's the young wife of Lieutenant Commander Shashank Tiwari. They got married in 2018. And she's with me live. She's been waiting for a month now for news about her husband. Remember, Shashank is also the only child of his parents. Shubhani, welcome. Thank you for speaking to India today. We share your anxiety, your pain, your feelings today, Shubhani. But we'd like to start at the beginning. Tell us everything you know so far from the time that when the expedition started and the avalanche that struck on October the 1st.
Yes, I hope you can hear me.
Yes.
Yeah, so I am Shubhani Tiwari, wife of Lieutenant Commander Shashank Tiwari, and I received a call on 1st of October from PDCV. DCV is the unit which Shashank reports to in Delhi. And I received a call on 1st of October. I clearly remember at around 12:30 p.m. Saying that he informed me that Shashank, there are 6 people missing during this avalanche that struck near the summit on Mount Trishul. And at around 12:30 when I received this call, I was outside. I was not at my home at that point of time. And when PDCV informed me that this particular avalanche, there were 10 people who were climbing near the summit at that point of time. And 6 people are reported missing. 5 of them are Navy personnel and 1 is the porter. At that point of time, when what missing means exactly, the family does not know how to process that particular information. Because being a mountaineer's wife, I know quite a lot about mountaineering. But when you receive a news of this particular avalanche, I didn't know what exactly missing means, because that is what I could process at that point of time. Moving on, the search continued for a few days, further till 15th or 16th of October. And moving on, like 2nd of October, we received the news that there were 4 bodies which were recovered. 3 were of naval officers and 1 was of the sailor. So still Shashank, my husband, and the porter are still missing.
What has the last 1 month been like? I can't even imagine the kind of anxiety that you yourself and Shashank's parents have been through, Shubhangi. But please do share that with us. The country is with you.
Yes,
they're listening to your story. Tell us what the last 1 month has been like.
So on receiving this particular information on 1st of October, the first thing that I processed was, which I also told the unit head, that Shashank is the only child of his parents. And the amount of things that Shashank has done already, being only 30, and he has already achieved so much. He has done around 4 or 5 peaks in India itself, all through naval expeditions, and Everest, again through a naval expedition in 2017, for which, again, as you mentioned, that he was conferred a gallantry medal for that. And when you receive such an information about a decorated officer, and as well as his other colleagues, which I definitely know them personally as well. And at that point of time, I could not process. I could not even tell his parents about the news. They got to know about the information from a relative of ours, because I was only hoping that day that he will be found. But due to this particular avalanche, the very next day we received the information that 4 bodies have been recovered. And again, to process that information that Shashank was not one of them was very difficult for the family. At this point of time, the mental state and the physical state of the family has really gone down. I can definitely not explain it in in words, that what the parents of an only child would be facing, that they do not know where are his whereabouts, what exactly has happened to him. Being a decorated naval officer, they have already seen a lot of ups and downs in their life, and to achieve so much, to see a child achieving so much, is something very that they have seen over the years, and suddenly receiving such a news about him was very shocking for them as well as me. Sending him to this particular expedition, this was very important for him, since last year, due to Corona, no naval expedition was organized. And this, he wanted, since it was a naval expedition, he wanted to put forth his best. And that is why, because he's been part of all the expedition that he's done are part of naval expeditions itself. So being part of this particular expedition was also very important for all of them, not just Shashank. And I definitely know, like, families, all the families who sent their children, their husbands to this particular naval expedition, only wanted them to go there, summit that particular peak, and then come back safely. I was part of the WhatsApp group which was made for the next of kin of the personnel who went for this particular expedition. And when the news came in on 1st of October saying that there was this particular avalanche, I exactly know what kind of questions the families had put forth in that WhatsApp group. I have come across those families who have already received the bodies of of, of their husbands or their sons, and the trauma of it has still not subsided. We still are we still are hopeful to find Shashank, and we definitely have faith in the forces that he's part of. Being a highly decorated officer, he has given a lot to the Navy, and he has brought a lot of laurels to the Navy. So,
Shubhani, you are a young naval wife, and
yeah,
you know, our hearts break along with yours, and everyone is listening to your story right now. But we also want to know, because you know, the families of military personnel are always aware of the dangers, the risks of the kinds of lives they've chosen. How have you and Shashank's family been coping for the last 1 month? Because you know, I have reported on many such instances, and it is always so difficult. I mean, it's one thing for me to sit here and say I share your pain, but in many ways you and Shashank's family have to face this alone.
yes. So definitely, he being the only child, Shashank and his parents especially, at this age, I think everybody can understand this thing, that it definitely affects your physical health. they have not been able to cope up with it, and his mom has already been admitted once. I, on the other hand, definitely, like being a naval wife, I definitely know about the dangers as part of their training as well. But being a naval officer, when he's going on the ship, you definitely know
Yeah.
what are the dangers, and they sometimes do explain it as well. But he's a mountaineer as well, so he's done his ship tenures as well, and just now from Mumbai we came doing a ship tenure. And about mountaineering, it's they definitely tell you stories, and they definitely tell
Yeah.
you what kind of things they face up there, like the crevasses, the incline of that particular peak. You definitely come to know when they come back and tell you. But something like an avalanche that has struck with this particular team, and the kind of impact that it must have had, you can definitely not make it out, because at that point of time you're not there. And the people who had actually faced the wrath of this avalanche were only these 6 people who went missing.
My,
So what kind of
yes.
impact this particular avalanche had, we can definitely not, nobody is able to explain it at this point of time.
Shubhani, the incredible challenges of a mountaineering expedition and the incredible challenges of a search expedition to actually find, the persons who are missing, are not understood in great detail by those who are not familiar with mountaineering and the risks of search expeditions of this kind. But from weather to logistics to the risks of crevices, like you said, for other avalanches, all of these pose the many challenges. Keeping all of these things in view, and with everything that you're going through right now, what would your message be? Because I do know that the Navy, the Army are highly professional institutions that will never leave a man behind. They will do all that they possibly can. What would your message be to the government, to these institutions, as you wait for word and await closure on young Shashank?
Yes, so Shashank is just 30 years old, and he's the only child of his parents. I think being a naval wife and being the parents of a naval officer, I think they should know what has happened to Shashank and where exactly he is. And definitely, like, a naval family deserves being known about a naval officer, like uh, where exactly he is. Like, there are a lot of questions right now in our minds, and many of them have not been answered. So, any kind of closure, like, we only want Shashank. That's the only thing that the family is looking forward to. And as part of being a naval wife, I know how the Navy works and what exactly are the ethos of the defense forces. I have always even heard it from Shashank that the Navy, or be it any other arm of the defense forces, they never leave a man behind. So I think even this time they need to stand by it. So that's my only message, that they should
assure you,
provide.
I assure you, Shubhani, that the Navy and the institutions will do everything they can to find young Shashank. I'm told there is a vice admiral who is overseeing operations and the search operations as well. I know the Navy well, I know the military well, and I don't speak on their behalf, but I know that they will never leave one of their own behind, and the search will continue. I hope and pray that your family will receive the closure it is so anxious about. And I thank you very much. And I fold my hands to you, Shubhani, for joining me and letting the country share in your feelings. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.